Rise and shine. Let's wake up and smell the coffee. How's everybody doing? Sorry I missed the chat yesterday morning. I was upset about that. I slept in. Pretty sure the time change has been, it has to be. That's the only thing that can be kind of screwing with my sleep schedule. Past several mornings, I've slept in a little bit later than I normally do. So, anywho, I wanted to get a little chat in this morning while I got the chance. Morning, Jackie. Anybody else in here? Yeah, I was mad yesterday. I was slept in. Well, not only that, I slept in, and then I had to immediately jump and start doing readings. You know, immediately had to jump in. So, as I said, I have been a busy, busy boy, an incredibly busy boy. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's tax time or maybe we're just going through something collectively where maybe all the light workers out there got to be doing extra work. I don't know, but it seems like there's been this massive, massive wave of readings that have come in. So don't get it twisted. Very honored to be of service, but it can, it can be a bit much sometimes. That's what I'm called to do, you know, so not complaining. No complaints here. No complaints. Anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? Finally got notification. Cool, right on. Yeah, it's good. YouTube's behaving now. The past couple of lives that I did, got a decent little crowd that showed up. YouTube will do that from time to time, dude. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I forget what month it was. Was it January, maybe? I think it was January where they just, all my settings just got switched to default. All my ad settings, you know, all of everything. And I noticed it. I'm looking at it. And my ad revenue, first it plateaued, and it started going down. I'm like, what in the hell's going on with that? Usually, the whole 2 years I've been doing this, everything rolls at a pretty predictable rate, you know? And I'm like, what's going on here? Views are looking just fine, you know? Everything else is looking just fine. Why is the ad revenue going down? I looked, and all of my ad settings were completely undone and set to default. And I was like, you bastards. I don't believe that was an accident. I don't think that was an accident. I mean, maybe it was. I could be wrong. I could just be tripping. You know what I'm It's just like, okay, yeah. Probably saved a shitload of money on that one right there. If you did that to every single YouTube partner, just for a day, you probably saved hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, you know? You fucking bastards. But maybe I'm just tripping. I could just be totally tripping, dude. I went through and reset everything, and everything's all back to normal now, but yeah, they reset notification settings like that on people and everything like that. So, 2 days in your fields, yeah. There's been a lot of massive energetic shifts going on. A lot of really massive energetic shifts. Every last one of us is feeling it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. I literally just rolled out of bed. I'm not even sure if I've been up for a full, maybe 15 minutes yet. Universe isn't taking nicely over procrastination when you want to manifest. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what you're manifesting, but for the most part, the vast majority of the time, you got to walk through that doorway when it opens. That's the big thing about manifestation. Very rarely will universe bring it to you knocking on your door, you know? Now, the way I explain things typically in my readings is when it comes to manifesting love, if you get on the actual frequency to attract your person, yeah, the universe does pretty much bring them straight to you. Pretty much for the most part. But you still have to take action and be like, damn, I got to rearrange my life now. I got to, you know, But when it comes to manifesting money, though, that doesn't just come knocking on your door. Universe will put a big sign over the door and say, you got to walk through here. You know, it'll more than likely be a door that scares the shit out of you. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do it. You know, every time, dude. Ask anybody that's ever manifested money. The doorway will say, this door here, enter here. And you got to do it. You got to walk up to it, you know. So if you don't do it, phew, manifestation gets flushed down the toilet. I've seen people do it. I've witnessed people do it. They get on that track, get on the manifestation vehicle, got everything going good, universe ready to deliver, and they don't want to take a leap of faith. And it's like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you, man? That's it. That's your opportunity right there. Or at least that's one of them. That's one of them that's going to lead to it. We let that mind take control. That mind will screw us over, dude. You know, until we develop a good, solid relationship with our intuition and with Source, because the goal is to get the two working together on the same team, you know. People say things that are really misleading a lot of times, like, you need to get rid of your ego. That's one of the stupidest fucking things that people say in the spiritual community. And that's one of the many things, and I explain this shit to people during personal readings all the time, that one of the many things that is my life's work is to cut through all the fluffy stuff and explain it, you know, because I always told myself I would. I think I might have touched on this in one of my other chats, but I always told myself, and I was on my path, and I was on a pretty desperate path, dude, because I had been led down some dark, dark roads. By the time I was on my path, I really, really, really dedicated 10,000% of my energy to learning these things and applying it to my life and getting it right. And I always told myself, if I'm ever in a position where I can maybe teach these things or explain these things or in some way in the public spotlight in the spiritual community, I'm going to make this shit more understandable than everybody else, you know, or at least I try. So that's the goal. But people always say you want to get rid of your ego. No, you don't. You don't want to get rid of your ego. You want to transcend your ego. You want to get your ego doing something different. Because right now the ego is trying to run the whole damn show because it's scared, you know? And we have to prove to the ego that that little intuition voice knows what it's talking about. And then the volume knob will go down. That's the way it works. You don't become more intuitive. People say, how do I become more intuitive? You don't become more intuitive. You just turn the volume knob on your ego down. And that's how you do it. You have to understand, you have to get to know the ego. You have to understand how the ego operates. Okay? The ego loves evidence. It loves a sense of foresight. It loves to be able to see the proof. And 9 times out of 10, when you're listening to your intuition, there is no evidence. There is no proof. You know? You just have to trust it. But after a while, after however long it takes for that little voice to be accurate, the ego goes, okay, well, I've seen enough to show me that that little voice knows what it's talking about. You know? Okay, I get it. I'll chill and I'll let that little voice do the talking. I'll let that little voice run the show, you know? Ooh. Anyway. But yeah, no, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, typically isn't real big on procrastination. You got to start doing it, dude. What is it you want to do, you know? I'll tell you what, though, and I've witnessed people do this here very recently, you know? It's always follow your passion, but never dump all your eggs in one basket. Never dump all your eggs in one basket, because you may be passionate about this one thing. Well, maybe that one thing you're passionate about right now is just a breadcrumb. Just because I'm extremely, insanely passionate about, for example, I don't know, making candles. That's just a cheesy example that I use. You know, I've always been passionate about wanting to make candles. Well, go fucking do it. Go do it. Go buy you the stuff to make candles, start looking up YouTube videos or whatever, and then just start fucking doing it. Does that mean you're going to be a multi-million-dollar candle maker? No, not necessarily. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe that's just one breadcrumb. You follow the breadcrumb, okay? Now pay attention to what's happening throughout the process. Guarantee you, if you listen close enough, you'll be inspired to do something else. You know, you'll be nudged in a different direction. And then you go to the next breadcrumb, and it's the same thing. It's like a breadcrumb trail. It's like a little puzzle. The source will set you up a little maze to go through. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool once you really develop that relationship with source, and you just listen to everything that's in here. And I'd be lying if I told you I just woke up knowing this. I was forced. I was put in a position where it was life or death. On the path that I was on, wrong move, life or death, man. I have no choice but to listen to source, man. I'm, traveling the country with a backpack full of clothes. Never know where I'm going to end up living from one day to the next. Yeah, I developed a real good relationship with my intuition. It was really scary. Really, really scary. I went through several chapters of my life that were very, very scary and had me living on the edge of my seat for many years, But it makes sense now as to why it happened. It makes perfect sense, Well, hell yeah, nobody's telling you what you can and can't be passionate about. Hell yeah, absolutely. Follow them all. Who cares? Follow them all. See if you can prioritize them on a list of, okay, what have I been wanting to do the most? I'm going to do that first, Just do it. And after a while, even at worst case scenario, you're training yourself to follow passion instead of money. And once you train yourself to follow passion instead of money, you kind of forget about money, I'm not really all that worried about money. I don't really care. You follow your passion. Then at some unbeknown time in the future, then money will start chasing you because you stop chasing it. Yep. There's a very hardcore science that goes into this too. And I teach that in my personal readings. Very hardcore science that goes into it. There's a lot of philosophical ways to explain it. And I've been accused in the past by people, not many, but there's been a couple of people who accuse me of like, oh, I don't want to hear your opinions and your philosophies. And I'm like, this is not my fucking opinion. Oh, no, it's not. This is not my philosophy. These are not theories. I will take a philosophical approach in my explaining of things simply to make it more understandable so you can relate to it. But there is a very hardcore science that goes into this. Very hardcore. It's just not mainstream science. If you trust anything mainstream, if you do, you might want to check yourself. That's what I tell people every time. If you trust anything mainstream, you might want to look again because that's not where the truth is. Oh, no, absolutely not. It's all good, though. I'm going to back away from that path because this is YouTube. Anyway. Oh, everything you chase will run from you. Absolutely. The universe is always giving you whatever it is you need to play whatever game you are engaged in at any given moment. That's what I tell people. The universe behaves like water, just like water. You want to think, how is my life experience unfolding? Think water. If you put your hand in the water and you move it very slowly and easily and effortlessly, there is little to no resistance at all. But the more of a fight you put up against the water, the more resistance the water puts up. In Mind Mastery School, he said, it lifts those up who make themselves light and drowns those who make themselves heavy. Very, very accurate depiction of the way this dimension operates. And I got stuck in that trap for many years. I remember I would always tell myself, I'm going to work as hard as I can, and I'm going to try to make more money, And guess what I did? I worked as hard as I could, and I tried to make more money. That's all there was to it. That's where the story ended, Did I make more money? No, not really. It's like the harder I worked, sometimes it would almost seem like the harder I worked, the less I would make. It seemed like, I would overexert myself with nothing in return. And a lot of us, we get stuck in this trap and we think it's bad luck. People come to me all the time and say things like, am I just destined to be broke my whole life? Am I just destined to be alone? I'm like, no, you're working against yourself. which is what we were trained and programmed to do for decades and decades and decades and decades. We've been trained to reverse manifest. We've been straight up lied to. Straight up lied to. Again, I'll flirt with some of these paths, but I'm not gonna go all the way down it. But yeah, we've been programmed and indoctrinated for many, 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 many years, and decades and generations to reverse manifest, especially when it comes to love and money. Mm-hmm. And that's what people like me and who teach the things that I teach and make public the teachings that I do are here to dismantle that old system and bring about a new one. And really all it is a system of consciousness. And I know that sounds cute and fluffy. What do I mean by consciousness? I mean the way you perceive these things. The way you perceive love, the way you perceive money and career and things like that. The way you view it, the way you believe, the things you believe, the way you feel about it. That's the system. The system was built and created by our consciousness, and our consciousness was manipulated to create it for them. And now we've got to rip down our old system of consciousness and bring about a new one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, y'all like Kelly? That's cool. She's cool as hell, man, isn't she? Yeah, Kelly's cool. She's a cool cat, man. It blew my mind. I've known of Kelly for quite some time. Actually, I knew who Kelly was before I ever even started reading tarot. That's why when she reached out to me, I was, because a lot of people reach out to me. A lot of people. If I could count how many emails I get a day asking people, will you promote my product? Can I'll pay you to advertise my company? Blah, 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 blah. I usually just ignore it. I completely ignore it. But I knew of Kelly, so I was like, yeah, we can get to talking. And this was I didn't say anything about it when it first happened, And she ended up actually coaching me, me and Leah. And I was like, whoa. Because I kind of underestimated her. Her public appearance is she skims the surface of what she does publicly. But man, in the real coaching sessions, it's like, damn, she has a way of connecting with you one-on-one and really getting you. She has a way that's so fascinating of getting you to grab the flashlight, turn it on, and shine it in your own dark spot and acknowledge it, Damn, I need to learn from her, dude. I need to learn from her, Kelly's cool, dude. So I was like, I will absolutely work with you and promote you. You bet your ass I will. Well, yeah. And like I said, I got a couple of people that I would like to reach out to. I am doing a friend of mine. We've been planning this for a couple of months anyway. But a friend of mine and Leah's is going to be visiting Vegas, and she has a tarot channel too, and she's going to do a collaborative like All Signs with me or something like that. But like I said, we've been planning this for 2 or 3 months anyways. But I still would kind of there's a couple of people here in Vegas that I would like to reach out to that I haven't done it yet. But they read cards and stuff and be like, hey man, you want to come over to my house and we can do a video? Because I've been promoting my coach Drew, been promoting Kelly. I'm going to collaborate with this person. And I would really kind of like to start doing that more often. I'm probably going to have to wait until the personal readings die down because I have very little time. Don't get me wrong. I do get plenty of time to myself, but as far as being able to plan anything big, it's been difficult here lately because I've been just sitting right over there at my workstation doing readings after readings after readings after readings after readings after readings, and it's been that way. It's just been that way for a solid 2 weeks now, and it is what it is. Right now, I'm pretty sure I only have 2 due today. But it wouldn't surprise me if Leah goes, here, babe, and hands me another stack of paper, dude. Like fucking 8, 9 of them. And I'm like, whew. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. So, what's up, Leandro? How you doing, man? Yeah. You've been having them dark times. It happens, dude. It happens. Waiting patiently for a big art channel to pimp you out. Not many readers like to use the platform for good. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, see, here's the thing. So many people are still, and it's understandable. It's really understandable. I think you have to be like really ahead of your time to really fully grasp. How am I going to word this? Everybody is still so hardwired into whatever belief system they have about money. You know, and we're moving into a day and age where money is gonna be so pointless here next year. Nobody's gonna need to worry about it here in the next year or so. And I've known this, but even before I really fully had a full picture of that, of anything that had to do with that, I had to train myself to not care about money. I had to train myself to not worry about it. You know, in manifesting business, you have to, or anything, you have to train yourself to kind of not want it. And I know you've probably heard these things. And again, I've come up with explanations that, because we hear these things, we're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Anything you chase will run from you. And I'm talking energetically, from an energetic point of view. People try to fake these things all the time. The universe doesn't respond to how you look. The universe responds to what's really happening in here. So anything you chase energetically and you focus your energy on will run from you. But anything you energetically shy away from, you will pull towards you. How do I do that consciously? That's the trick. That's the trick. How do I do that consciously? How do I flip a switch and let go and release something, and not just let go of it and release it, but maybe kind of shy away from it and kind of run from it? I see this meme that floats around Facebook from time to time. It says, you attract what you fear. And then in smart ass connotations, it says, oh my God, I'm so afraid of $5 million. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, stupid ass. If you really genuinely were wholeheartedly afraid of $5 million, watch it fucking chase you, you dumbass. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. And most people don't, they never, ever, ever, ever even allow themselves to slip into that frequency. They just say, oh, that's bullshit. No, it isn't. No, it is not. It's not bullshit at all. That's exactly how it works. You know? You got a lot of naysayers out there that don't even know, they've never even really fully tried it. But there's one secret. There's one secret that is the science behind it that I teach in my personal readings. And I learned it myself. I didn't make this up. I didn't make it up. I was taught it too. And it's one key thing that gets left out of the teachings of manifestation. And I teach that to people who come to me personally, if you need it. Some people don't even need to hear it, but if you're one of those types of people that you really, really need to hear the hardcore science behind it, some people it would confuse them even more. It just really depends. It really kind of depends. I feel your energy when I'm reading for you and I'm flipping cards and I'm pulling energy in and I read your name and I'm reading your questions. I'm pulling your energy in and I can feel how your energy behaves. And if you feel like the type of person that you really need to hear that in order for it to click and make sense one of these days, it may not even click and make sense right away. It may just still kind of leave you scratching your head like, what? As it did me when I very first learned it. I'm like, huh? And it took many, many, many months for all that to settle in and sink in and really, really click and make sense for me before I was ever able to actually consciously do it, But yeah. And very much so, by the time it got to the point to where I had primed, fueled up, and fired up my manifestation vehicle as far as finances, I was too scared to do it. I was running from the money. I was running from it. I was refusing it. I didn't want it. I was scared of it. I was like literally in my heart. I refused to do personal readings for the first 6 months. I ran from it, turned it down. No, don't want it. And it chased me. It finally caught me and tackled me one day. And I couldn't really run from it anymore. I was kind of forced to do it in a way, But yeah, you always want to kind of keep that, because the minute you and then you start reversing that, then the money will start running from you again, you know? You gotta catch yourself. But again, when it comes to money, all money is in terms of manifestation, that's like the most kindergarten energy throughout the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's like the very first one that once you learn how to manifest money, you learn that it ain't nothing about money. All learning how to manifest money does is teach you, oh, well, that's how fucking everything works. Oh, okay. It's just much easier to manifest money because everything behaves the same way anyway, but it gives off much more of an illusion of like money doesn't really care who owns it, doesn't really care what you do with it when you get it, you know, so it's easier. That energy, the manifestation of the energy is easier to manipulate and play with because, again, it gives off the illusion that you have total control, you know, which you never really. I don't want to go too far down some of these paths and get confusing, but once you figure out how to manifest money and you really, really get that and you start working on the money aspect of things, you realize, man, that ain't nothing, dude. That was just like kindergarten. Past kindergarten now, you know? Does that make sense? Now it's the next grade and there's the next level to it. Love and relationships, you know, and things. And does that make sense? So then what? Then what? Now what? My health, wellness, and fitness, manifesting a fit body. What's the next thing, you know, or whatever. There's different levels to this stuff, you know, and a good 90 to 95% of the time, money is just for most people. There's no blanket statement that covers everybody, but everybody wants to learn how to manifest money. And then once you learn that, you're like, well, that's not special. That's not okay. Wow. Ooh, money. You know, it really isn't what you thought it was, you know, not at all. And, well, what do I manifest next? Now, oh, okay, you passed kindergarten now. Now it's time for first grade, you know? And it's fascinating, dude. It's a very fascinating journey. Very, very fascinating. Having trouble with job and money, yeah. You'll be all right. You won't for much longer, but we have to understand that I don't care what it is you're trying to manifest. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's love and relationships. I don't care what it is. You have to get on the frequency first, and then the universe will mirror it back to you. And there's some exercises that you can use to figure out if you're on the frequency of something or not. Take something you are on the frequency of. Do you have a car? What does it feel like to own that car? What does it feel like? I mean, it's out there in the driveway. How many times have you thought about it today? A couple. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it feels like to be on the frequency of something. Once you fully get on the frequency of money, I don't care what your bank account says. I don't care what you have in your pocket. I don't care how big your house is. I don't care how nice your car is. Once you get on the frequency of money, one of the first things that you'll notice is you're not fucking worried about it. No, okay, well, my electric bill is due next week, and it doesn't really look like I have enough money in the bank to cover it. Oh, well, it's okay. It's all right. I'll have it. It'll get paid. You know that part of you that goes, but how? How am I going to do it? It doesn't matter. There will always be money when I really need it. The universe will never let me fall by the wayside. And that can be very challenging and very tricky to get yourself into that mindset, into that mentality. It took me almost a solid year to get myself into that mentality. And it gets to the point, oh, okay, oh, I see. Money is always there when I need it. Okay, I really don't have to worry about money. I'm not starving to death. And when I started this process, I tell you all this a lot, but there's new faces in here all the time. I was working at a car wash, scrubbing cars for tips, making minimum wage. I never really knew every day I walked into work if I was going to make enough tips to eat dinner that night. I never really knew 100%. This is when I had to start practicing this. By the way, I couldn't tell you the first thing about a tarot card at that point in time either. Couldn't. You know what I'm saying? That's how unexpected my career was. But that's when I started this process. Money is always there when I need it. And then it got to the point to where I literally just wasn't worried about it at all. I don't care about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on everything but actual money, you know? So it can be tricky, but it has to happen in here first. And then the universe will mirror it back to you. So you have to understand, it's not money that we're after. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. Just like love and relationships. It's not the actual relationship you're after. It's a feeling. That's the end goal. It's a feeling. We have just, again, been very lied to, brainwashed, and programmed into believing that money will bring me that feeling that I want. That the perfect relationship will bring me that feeling that I want. And it doesn't. And I learned, again, I know I'm repeating myself to a lot of you, but we always have new faces in here. When I lived under a bridge, when I was homeless, I learned that money is not the problem. Money is not the problem. You know how many homeless people I've met who can stand out in front of a store and panhandle and make more money than the fucking manager in the store? But they're not on the frequency of abundance. They're on the frequency of nothingness and emptiness. You could walk up to a homeless man and dump $10,000 on him. And if he's not on the frequency of getting his life together, that $10,000 is not going to get his life together. It's not. He's going to throw a party under the bridge and blow it and end up right back where he was to begin with. That's not what we're after. It's not money that we need. It's up here. If you're, let's say you make $20,000 a year and you just you're in debt up to your eyeballs and you're just stressed out and you're worried and you're nervous about all your debt and your stress and it's just eating you alive, and I come and dump $1 million on you. When you're on that frequency, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to end up manifesting debt and stress that you couldn't even comprehend. See what I'm saying? We're after a feeling. We're after the feeling of relief from stress. We all want the same thing. And it's not money that we want. We want to not worry about money. That's all we really want. You can't tack a dollar sign on that. You can't tack an amount on that. It doesn't have a dollar sign on it. There is no amount of money that will bring that feeling to you. The goal is, I'm not worried about money. Isn't that what we all really want? That's what we all really want, is to not have to worry about money. More money will not create that feeling. No, it won't. Oh, no, the fuck it won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. Everybody, 100% of the people who have ever gone from poor to having money will tell you that. I've never met a person. Now, of course, you do have people who are just born into money and they don't really know anything different. But especially people like me who have gone from being very, very poor and having nothing to being very well off, they will all tell you the same thing. Money doesn't bring that feeling to you. No, it doesn't. Oh, no, it does not. Every last person will. And I guarantee you, most of us, I would feel very safe betting probably 90% of us to 95% of us who went from being poor and having nothing to having abundance and making good money, didn't believe that at one point in time in our lives. None of us believe that. We think it's just this cute, fluffy thing that we say to dismiss money. Oh no, it's very true. Money does not bring that feeling to you. Really, really nice things do not bring that feeling to you. You know, you get the real nice thing, the brand new car or whatever, and it's cool for a little bit, and it's like, okay, whatever. And then you get the big nice house or the whatever it is that you want. And, oh man, it's cool for a minute. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'm going back to kind of just feeling the same way that I was. And then a lot of people never catch this. You know, that's why you have greedy rich people who just keep wanting more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And that's what creates a greedy, selfish person, is they never really understand. Something never clicks in there that void you're trying to fill can't be filled with money. Money will not fill that void. See what I'm saying? That's not the way it works. But that has to click at some point. And with most people it does. But there's some people that never clicks. You know? So that's how we get a dog chasing its tail, trying to fill the empty void with outside things. And the only thing that anything in your outside world is going to do is vibrationally complement whatever frequency you're on. So if you're on the frequency of having an empty void in here or stress or whatever, Money, the only thing you're going to buy at the end of the day is more stress. That's all you're going to buy. Same thing with love and relationships. If you're broken, insecure, and empty, and alone and lonely, and I bring you the perfect fucking lover, that ain't gonna fix that feeling. Oh, hell no, it won't. You're gonna end up feeling 10 times more insecure than you ever could have imagined feeling. And you're gonna sabotage that relationship with your insecurities and end up right back where you were to begin with. It's not a relationship that you're after. It's a feeling, the feeling of feeling happy, whole, complete, loved, appreciated, worthy. You have to find that first. Then the universe will mirror it back to you. One of the very first things that happens when you step into that feeling, which is 9 of Cups, by the way, one card away, one step away from the 10 of Cups. That's not done by accident. The tarot very much depicts the process of accidentally manifesting true love, which is what most people do. Most people manifest it by accident. And I know if you've had a personal reading from me, I've probably explained this whole thing to you already. So I don't really want to dig that rabbit hole up, because I usually save that lecture for my personal readings before I dig into the science of it. But yeah. The world is full of distractions. Oh, fuck yeah, it is, man. Yes, it is. There's a very specific reason why. And that's the main thing that I'm here to shine light on, is because, like I said, I've always wanted to make it my life's work to cut through the fluffy stuff. You know, I'm not saying the fluffy stuff is wrong. I'm not here to debunk anything anybody has taught or said. I'm not here to say that there's anybody out there teaching the wrong thing. But I've always said, okay, and I know I said this, I touched on this in another chat, but I said to myself, okay, that video right there, 50,000 people viewed it. I would feel very safe assuming that at least 25,000 of them didn't fully comprehend the message. If I'm ever in a position to send out a message where 50,000 people can hear something that I have to say, I'm going to make damn sure that no less than 40 of the 50,000 fully comprehend it, you know? It'd be lovely if everybody does. So what I do is I break it down and I explain why. Why do I need to let it go? Why? Sounds cute. It's what everybody says, but until I fully grasp and actually have an Ace of Swords moment and comprehend, why do I need to let it go? And then if I'm able to break it down and explain it to a point, even if I just plant a seed, you know, I would kind of rather not. I would like to be able to flick the light on immediately, but if I can break it down in a way and explain it to where you go, that makes fucking sense. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to do, you know? My teachings are designed to become obsolete. They're designed to, okay? They're designed to one of these days, because it's so easy to get addicted to guidance and get addicted to, you know, motivational speeches. And I very much feel that, you know, we all kind of have that in us to, you know, oh, there's this one person that I like to follow and I just listen to this person all the time. And I still do this to this day. I have my group of people that I sit and listen to, you know, every single day. But it's really, really, really important that we prepare for the day that we spread our own wings and fly, you know, so that you don't have to keep coming back to me. My personal readings are not designed for you to have to keep coming back and spending your money on me over and over and over again. Some people do. That's fine. But that's not what my service is intended to do. That's the old system. The old system, like Apple, for example, they make things that are breakable for a fucking reason, you know? My teachings are not breakable. They're not meant to be breakable. They're not meant to have to keep returning to me for the rest of your life. It's not what it's meant for. That doesn't mean I don't want you to return to me ever again. I'll tell you at the end of each reading, you know, if you ever want to schedule another reading, just let me know. But if not, no big deal. No big deal, okay? Yeah, I have had a couple of customers, not many, but I have had a couple that just keep returning over and over and over and over and over and over. And after a certain point, I will tell you, look, all right, I've explained this in every way I possibly can, you know? I don't want you to think that you have to keep coming back to me and spending your money on me. That's not what this is about. That's not what this is for. So I don't want that to sound Like, I don't want you to think that if you ever come to me, you're not allowed to come back. No, no, no. That doesn't make sense, though. You understand where I'm coming from? The old business model, when it came to anything in the old system we were brought up in, was designed to create return customers. Almost everything was designed to keep you coming back over and over and over again. If you do want to return to me, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do want to make sure that okay, well, maybe I didn't explain some things good enough, or maybe there's just something else you needed explained. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, at some point, I want to prepare each and every person that comes to me, or even if you just watch my general videos, eventually, oh, okay, the shit that Rich said makes so much sense. I'm ready to spread my own wings. Oh yeah. Yep. Been with me from the beginning. That's cool. Be with me that's cool. Tina, appreciate it. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, readings. Yeah, pathways to personal success. Absolutely. Yes, you got that right, Rob. Mm-hmm. Yep. And well, the biggest difference between, and I don't really know. It's to the point now. I've told you I don't watch readers anymore. Again, because that's what I did. I watched a lot of readers at one point, spread my own wings. Now I really genuinely have no idea what other readers are doing out there. So I don't even really remember how other readers read. But because I dedicated my life to learning the laws of energy. That's what I dedicated my life to. When I decided I want to manifest my own business, this is what the universe had in mind for me, which was not my plan. But now looking back, and it's always in hindsight, now looking back, it makes so much sense that by the time I was introduced to the tarot, I already had a vast knowledge of all the multiple different timelines we have available to us and how to navigate through them. See what I'm saying? Where I'm not saying that they're not out there. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I've personally never seen a reader who is knowledged in that area, who is versed in that area and has that kind of knowledge. And that's no disrespect to anybody. I'm not saying that anybody else is doing it wrong. I didn't plan to do that, So that's why when I approach my readings, I do it from a perspective that's so very, very different. Instead of just reading the one little linear timeline you're on. And I've even heard other readers say, you can change the outcome, because you can. But I've never met a reader who can tell you how to change the outcome, who has the tools to give you, And that's one of the many things that makes me different in the tarot community. I mean, there's a lot of things that make me different, But that's one of the many things. I mean, obviously, I'm a man. I don't know how common that is anymore, but when I very first started, there were not many dudes doing it at all. And I'm a straight man, which that pissed a lot of people off, and that became public. Well, that made a lot of people mad, dude. That made a lot of people mad. Because for some reason, I don't know why, like all the dudes that were reading tarot were all gay. I don't know why. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on now. But at the time that I started, I made up like maybe 1% of the straight men who were reading tarot. When it became public that I wasn't gay, oh man, that pissed a lot of people off. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Oh yeah. I was welcomed into the tarot community with loving arms by lots of different people, and I'm not going to name any names, but there were a couple of really big names, huge names on the internet that most of you, if I said their name, you would know exactly who they are. And no, they're not just tarot card readers. A couple of them were. But as soon as it became public that I was straight, poof, I got ghosted by everybody. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Are you serious? Really? Are you kidding me? I'm not hating on you for who you are. Why? Okay, whatever. Cool. Well, maybe I am meant to bring something different into this right here, Maybe. Appreciate you, Tina. That's cool. That is cool. When I see people who have been with me from the beginning, you know. Yeah, being straight's not mainstream. I know. And here's the funny thing: I'm going to flirt with another path, and then I'm going to back off of it. Have you ever noticed it seems like for me, I'm not discriminating against anybody, but it feels like they're discriminating against me. You know, just say it. I'm not here. I don't give a damn what you like. I don't care who you are. But it seems like you're judging me for the things that, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, you know? But it's all good. It's all good. I'm not worried about it. So again, I'm flirting with a path, and I'm not going to cross that boundary just yet. Maybe one of these days. Just for now, I'm going to back off that path. But I got a few OG followers in here, don't I? That's cool. I got a few OG followers in here. Yeah, it's been okay. Well, then you all know. You all have witnessed, you know, at least this block of my life and the transformation process I've been on. Since it's become public, you've been able to sit and watch it happen, you know? Been able to sit and watch it happen. Now, like I said, by the time I stepped onto the scene in the public spotlight, this has just been one little piece of my transformation process. But yeah, a lot of you have been able to witness that piece, and I'm living proof. If anything, I'm living proof that what I say works, because you've been able to watch me do it. You know, I do very much so practice what I preach. The best thing that you can do, and I hear people, any genuine person will speak the same message. That it's, if you want to be of service to others, you can't make people listen to you. You can't convince people of anything. You can't force people to shift their belief systems. You can't do it. The only thing you can do is focus on your own spiritual journey, your own evolution. That's all you can do. And then those people who are willing, you have to be willing. Those people who are actually willing to put forth the work and the effort to make changes in their life will see you and be like, damn, I'm going to listen to that person. You know, I'm going to pay attention to what that person has to say. I'm going to listen to what that person, because that's what I ended up having to do. I didn't, I tried for too many years, just like all of us do, to do it my way and to figure out my way of doing it, you know? And at a certain point, man, no, if I want to learn how to make money, I'm going to go to somebody that has money. I'm going to go to a millionaire. If I want to learn how to be fit, you know, and be in shape, I'm going to go to somebody who's fit and in shape. If I want to learn how to manifest something, I'm going to go to somebody who has manifested a lifestyle that I would like to live, you know? It's so funny. I see so many people on the internet, and it used to piss me off, but now it just kind of makes me giggle, who they're trying to teach things, but I wouldn't trade lives with you. You know, and a lot of people try to give me advice, and I'm not the one who doesn't take advice, but if you don't have what I want, I'm not going to listen to you. If there's nothing that you can point to prove to me that you know what you're talking about, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to somebody who has what I want, or who is on a path that I want to be on, or who has experienced. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And that's the way it goes. That's the way it needs to go. I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's at the bottom of the mountain. I'm going to take advice from that guy that's up there at the top of that mountain. And then once I get to the top of that mountain, the mountains never end, by the way. Oh, no, they don't. Once you get to the top of one mountain, it just feels like level ground again. And there's another mountain. I'm going to listen to that dude up there. That's what I'm going to do. What's up, Alice? How you doing? I got about 10 more minutes on here, y'all. I wanted to get a chat in this morning. I wanted to yesterday morning, and I was so pissed, dude. I woke up late. Leah actually woke me up. You know, I'm usually up up 2 or 3 hours before she gets up. And she woke me up, and I was like, oh man, I had to immediately, I didn't even get time to eat breakfast, dude. Didn't get to eat, nothing. I had to jump straight on my readings, you know? So, yeah, I wanted to get this little chat in this morning. Probably gonna cook pancakes for the kiddos this morning. Didn't get to do it yesterday morning. I missed out on a lot of things. See, I do like my routines, you know, but the universe threw a curveball at me. Plus, I think the time changed too. Past couple days, I've been taking a nap, you know, and I'm not that I'm not a napper, but I think I'm still adjusting to the time change. I'll lay down to like chill and relax or something like that. Next thing I know, I'm waking up 2 hours later. So I'm falling asleep way later, you know, midnight, 1 a.m. And I like to fall asleep around maybe 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11. So appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Believe it or not, this is very therapeutic for me too. Very therapeutic for me. This sets the tone for the day. I digs it. Divine masculines. Yep. That I do feel that I'm one of those who's here to help introduce and help awaken divine masculine, you know. It's still real off balance right now because now all anybody is focusing on is divine feminine. There's nothing wrong with that, but we can't neglect divine masculine. This is a dualistic dimension. And I know that's a very 3D way to look at it. We're hopping up out of this, but we have to get to balance first as we're hopping up out into the new dimensions, you know? We got to get it into balance. Both masculine and feminine have been targeted in their own right, in their own way. And, you know, I tell people that in personal readings too, especially when it comes to love and relationships. Men and women were both trained and programmed to reverse manifest love in their own way. And I do the best that I can, but again, it's really hard to the amount of men that come to me for readings are maybe, well, it's getting more, it's becoming more. At first it was like 1%. Now I'd say that it's hopped up to about 10%, maybe 15% by now, but that's still a very small number of men who, you know, are, I don't want to say awakening, but it's all it really is taking masculine energy and figuring out how to focus it correctly, okay? Like, for example, especially with love and relationships. Here's the analogy that I like to use, okay? Think of your hands, okay? You know people who work with their hands a lot, and you're working with your hands all the time, and you're doing all kinds, you get calluses on your hands, you know, the skin gets tough, and you're able to use your hand, and the more you use your hands, the tougher your hands get. Well, what do you think happens if you put gloves on your hand and wrap them up, tie them behind your back, and never use them? They get real weak and sensitive, and you'll do everything you can to avoid using your hands. You know, you don't want to use them because they're really, really weak. The muscles atrophy and the skin's real sensitive. Well, that's how men handle their emotions. Women have been trained to overuse their emotions. So women are much more emotionally resilient than men because, again, men have been programmed to run from their emotions. So men's emotions are typically much, much weaker and much more sensitive. So they'll run from emotional things. And women are much more likely to keep repeating the same toxic cycle over and over and over and over and over and over and over because they're emotionally resilient and they can take it, you know? So, two opposite ends of the spectrum. We need to come together in the middle. See what I'm saying? Make sense? Make sense? So, yep. That's the best analogy that I can think of. But, you know, it's not up to me to help awaken divine feminine. Okay, I'm there. You all have that under control. You know, you ladies have divine feminine, and you don't have to be a lady, but anybody who is working with that divine feminine energy, okay, that's cool. We need to get more people, you know, more men. You know, of course, you don't have to be a man either. You know what I mean? The gender doesn't really matter that much, but we do need to awaken divine masculine, and we need to get that into balance, dude. We got to get it balanced. You know that the spiritual community is infiltrated too, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. These negative thought forms will infiltrate any any system that is awakening. And right now, one of the many ways that it's being infiltrated and thrown off balance is that masculinity is toxic and bad. No, no, it's not. It's been made toxic and bad for a reason. Now we're awakening divine masculine energy, but now we have everybody only focused on divine feminine energy. It's still in infiltration because now the scale's like this. You know? Make sense? We got to come to balance. We have to come to balance. We have to come to balance. We'll get there. We're getting there. It's all good. My transformation was huge from Maine, Idaho. Yeah. I'm still transforming, y'all. I'm not done. I appreciate that, though. Yes, it is. It has been huge. Very scary, too. Very scary. That's another thing that I, well, it's more widely known and accepted now than it was, that a lot of the spiritual journey that we go on, there's going to be a part of it that is horrifying, scary, very, very scary. You know, when we say cute, fluffy things like trust the universe, sounds cute, but do you? Do you trust the universe? Because if you're put in a position where you have no choice but to trust the universe, it's going to be scary as fuck. Because trusting the universe, again, involves having to take your hands off the wheel. Go through some very, very horrifying, scary things that the ego is terrified. You know, the ego is designed to try to keep itself safe. The ego is designed to try to come up with every possible worst case scenario that could possibly happen and try to keep itself safe from it. That's all the ego. And when you take your hands off the wheel, it's scary. It's very, very scary. And but that's part of it. And y'all have witnessed me go through a lot of that. A lot of that. Oh yeah. And I still am. Well, like I said, right now I'm much more focused, since I'm beyond satisfied with what I've manifested as far as my income, my love life, and my family with my kids and everything like that. That's very, 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 I don't want to say complete, but I'm very satisfied with what I've done as far as that. Now my next journey is health, wellness, and fitness, which is, again, just another transformation of the mind is all it is. Just another transformation of the mind. You know, that's why it's a long, drawn-out process. You know, it's a mental thing. It's getting my mind, okay, I'm sore all the time. This is the new normal. This is the new normal. I get up in the morning, you know, go to the gym and make my body hurt so bad. That's the new normal. This is just what I do. This is the new normal. This is just me now. I don't have to force myself to do it. It's just what I do, you know? And I'm reprogramming my mind to this is me. We do things that are very, very physically strenuous. You know, this is just me. This is the new normal. And I'm still in the process in my diet, the things that I eat, the types of things that I take into my body. This is just the new normal. And then the body will readjust itself to match the frequency of the mind. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Again, it's not money that we're after. It's up here. It's not a relationship that we're after. It's up here. It's not a fit body that we're after. It's up here. Those things are the manifestations of this up here. And in every scenario, I don't care what it is, what you're fighting against is all up here. You're working to reprogram the subconscious paradigm. You're working to reprogram the mind. Everything else will follow. Everything else will follow. So that's my next journey, you know, and it took a while for that one to click. And I do believe that this is one of the next, even if I don't do anything really big with it myself, I do think that I am dropping one hell of a pebble in the pond as far as bringing fitness, health, and wellness into the spiritual community in a way that nobody has ever looked at it before. Okay? in a way that nobody's ever looked at it before, because there's still a big gap between health, wellness, and fitness and the spiritual community. Still a huge gap. But I personally have never, ever witnessed anybody in the public spotlight explaining how your health, wellness, and fitness is just as spiritual as anything else. And it's just as much of a spiritual transformation process as anything else. I can clearly see that now. It's taken a while, coming up to close to a year. In July, it'll be a year since I've been on this path. I can clearly see it now. And I really think that as time goes on, that's going to be much, much, much more of a widely accepted into the spiritual community process than anything else. But guess what? It's one of the hardest ones. It's one of the hardest paths that you will walk on the manifestation journey, especially if you're, there's some people who don't really need to manifest fitness, health, and wellness because they're already fit, healthy, and well. Just like there's some people who don't need to manifest money because they're already on that frequency. Some people who don't need to manifest a good love life because they're already on that frequency. But you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I truly, truly believe with every ounce of my heart and soul that with time, I will assist in the process of making that a much more widely understood concept in the spiritual community as to how health, wellness, and fitness, and so that you can really understand the spiritual aspect of that. I was put on that path for a reason, and it's clear. I can see it as crystal clear as ice water now. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my next journey. And that's the path that I'm on now, you know? So, anywho, probably about time for me to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Just a little over an hour. I might see if I can hop back on later. I'll ask Leah if she feels like chatting. I don't know, though, but it's about pancake time for the kiddos. So, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a good one, Leandro, and everybody else that tuned in. I'll see y'all maybe sometime later today. I'm going to try to get a bunch of readings done on my main channel, you know, and finish. I'd like to finish up the April readings today. That's the plan, but who knows. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Have a good morning.